Jim Furyk getting the 2027 Ryder Cup captaincy is not the shocking part. The shocking part is how we got here. Because for a long time, this role felt like it already belonged to Tiger Woods. Not officially, but emotionally. Everyone in golf could see the path. Tiger had moved past the stage where people expected him to play every week, but the Ryder Cup captaincy looked like the perfect next chapter. He could still lead. He could still shape a team. He could still be the presence that changes a room without needing to hit one competitive shot. And then he turned it down. Just like that, the job that felt written for Tiger went to Jim Furyk instead. And now Team USA is heading to Ireland with a captain who has already lived through one of the most painful Ryder Cup defeats of the modern era. That is what makes this story interesting. This is not just about a new captain. This is about a second chance, a missed Tiger moment, and a United States team still trying to prove it can win on European soil again. The PGA of America naming Jim Furyk as the United States captain for the 2027 Ryder Cup at Adare Manor immediately changes the tone around the event. On paper, Furyk is a safe choice. He is respected, experienced, and deeply familiar with the Ryder Cup environment. He's been a player, an assistant, and a captain. He also has the kind of calm personality that doesn't create unnecessary drama before the matches even begin. But the reason this announcement feels bigger than a normal captaincy pick is because Furyk was not the name most people expected first. Tiger Woods was widely seen as the favorite before he declined the role while stepping away to focus on his health, and that one detail hangs over the whole decision. That is why Furyk's appointment has two stories inside it. The first is simple. A veteran leader gets another chance. The second is more complicated. Tiger Woods says no to a role many people assumed he would eventually take. Those two things are connected, but they don't feel the same. Furyk's return is about structure. Tiger's absence is about meaning. And in a Ryder Cup, meaning matters. It affects fans, players, media pressure, and the way the entire event gets framed before anyone even tees off. Furyk has been here before, and that is both his strength and his problem. In 2018, he captained the United States team in Paris, and it ended badly. Europe won comfortably at the Golf National, and Furyk had to answer tough questions afterward about preparation, pairings, and whether his players were ready for the course. That kind of loss stays attached to a captain. It becomes part of the story every time his name comes up again. But this is also why 2027 is interesting. Furyk is not walking into Ireland as someone learning the job for the first time. He is walking in as someone who knows exactly what failure in this role feels like, and sometimes that matters more than a perfect resume. The Ryder Cup is different from normal golf because it exposes leadership quickly. A captain can't hit the shots, but he can absolutely influence the mood of the team. Pairings matter. Communication matters. Knowing which players can handle pressure together matters. Managing egos matters. And when the event is in Europe, all of that becomes even harder. The United States has not won a Ryder Cup on European soil since 1993, which means every American captain who travels across the Atlantic carries the same burden before the first ball is struck. Furyk knows that history. He has already been part of it. Now he gets another chance to change it. That second chance is what gives this story weight. If Furyk wins in Ireland, the entire conversation around him changes. Suddenly, 2018 becomes experience instead of failure. Suddenly, the captain who once got criticized for Paris becomes the captain who helped end one of the longest and most frustrating droughts in American Ryder Cup history. But if the United States loses again, especially with Furyk back in charge, the criticism will be brutal. People will ask why the PGA of America returned to a captain who already lost in Europe. They will ask why a new voice wasn't chosen. And whether it is fair or not, they will ask what Tiger might have done differently. That Tiger question is not going away. It will follow this Ryder Cup all the way to Ireland. Every lineup decision, every pairing, every emotional moment will exist in the shadow of the captain who could have been. That doesn't mean Furyk is the wrong choice. It means he is stepping into a role that already had a ghost inside it. Tiger's presence would have changed everything. The build-up would have been different. The media attention would have been different. The players would have felt something different. With Tiger, the captaincy would have become a legacy event. With Furyk, it becomes a mission. And maybe that is exactly why Furyk makes sense. Tiger would have made the Ryder Cup about Tiger, even if he didn't want that. The cameras would follow him. Every decision would become a debate about his instincts, his history, his aura. Furyk gives the United States something quieter. Less electricity, but maybe more control. He is not going to turn the captaincy into a show. He is not going to dominate every headline with his personality. He is more likely to build a plan, trust the players, and keep the attention where it belongs. For a team that has dealt with plenty of noise in recent years, that might be valuable. There is also a reason the PGA of America can point to Furyk's recent team event success. He captained the United States to victory at the 2024 President's Cup in Montreal, which gives this appointment more credibility than just nostalgia or familiarity. It shows that he has recently managed a team environment and won. The President's Cup is not the Ryder Cup, and everyone knows that. The intensity is different. The rivalry is different. The pressure is different. But it still matters, because it proves Furyk has not been away from this kind of leadership. He has stayed involved, stayed relevant, and stayed trusted. The matchup also becomes more interesting because Europe is not experimenting. Luke Donald has been named European captain again, giving him a third consecutive Ryder Cup term. That tells you how confident Europe is in its current direction. They are not searching for identity. They believe they already have it. Donald has built trust, continuity, and a winning culture around his team. So while the United States is trying to reclaim something on foreign soil, Europe is trying to extend dominance and make history. That contrast matters. One side is looking for redemption. The other is looking for continuation. Adare Manor also adds another layer. This is not just a neutral venue. This is Ireland. The atmosphere will be loud, emotional, and heavily tilted toward Europe. Ryder Cups in Europe already feel different for American teams, but Ireland brings its own kind of energy. The crowd will not just be watching golf. They will be pushing Europe forward, making every American mistake feel bigger and every European putt feel inevitable. Furyk has to prepare his players for that before they ever arrive. Strategy matters, but temperament may matter even more. That is where Furyk's personality could help. He has never been the loudest figure in golf, but he has always been one of the steadiest. His own playing career was built on patience, precision, and an unusual swing that became a symbol of doing things his own way. He was never the flashiest star, but he lasted, won, adapted, and earned respect. That kind of personality might not create viral moments, but it can create trust inside a team room. And in a Ryder Cup, trust is everything. Still, the pressure will be real because the United States does not just need a respect to be showing, it needs a win. Close losses are not enough anymore. Good effort is not enough. The American side has had too much talent for too long to keep explaining away road defeats. Every generation of players hears about 1993. Every captain inherits that number. Furyk now inherits it again. And this time, he cannot say he didn't know what he was walking into. The biggest challenge for Furyk may not be tactics. It may be belief. American teams often look unbeatable on paper, but Ryder Cups are not won on paper. They are won through chemistry, trust, and players accepting uncomfortable roles. Someone has to sit. Someone has to play with a partner they didn't expect. Someone has to handle hostile crowds and still hit the shot. The captain's job is to make those decisions before panic enters the room. Furyk failed to get enough of that right in Paris. Now he has the chance to show he learned from it. And that is what makes this appointment better than it first looks. It is not the glamorous pick. It is not the emotional pick. It is not the Tiger moment fans imagined. But it is a pick with a real story behind it. Furyk is not being handed a clean slate. He is being handed a chance to rewrite the one chapter of his leadership career that still feels unfinished. That is more interesting than a perfect candidate with no scars. Ryder Cup captains don't need to be flawless. They need to understand pressure. Furyk understands it because he has already been burned by it. So when people ask whether Jim Furyk is the right choice, the honest answer is that we won't know until Ireland. That is how Ryder Cups work. A captain can look brilliant or foolish based on a few putts, a few pairings, and a few moments nobody can fully control. But we do know this. The 2027 Ryder Cup now has a very different story than the one people expected. It is no longer Tiger Woods leading America into Ireland. It is Jim Furyk returning to the same battlefield that once exposed him, trying to do what no American captain has done in more than 3 decades. Tiger said no. Furyk said yes. And now the whole thing becomes simple. One man stepped away from the role everyone thought was his. Another man stepped back into a role that once hurt his reputation. In 2027, at Adare Manor, both decisions will be judged at the same time. If Furyk wins, this becomes one of the great redemption stories in American Ryder Cup history. If he loses, the question will be louder than ever. Did Team USA miss its Tiger moment?